Hi, today we're going to be making buttermilk pancakes, and to do that, no, that's not how I want to, stop, don't look at me. Hi, today we're going to be making buttermilk pancakes, and the first step is to gather all your ingredients, and you're going to get all the dry ingredients and put them in a bowl. You're going to need 2 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, a teaspoon and a half of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, 1 1/3 cups of buttermilk, and if you don't have buttermilk, you can add 2 teaspoons of lemon juice or vinegar to your milk, 2 eggs separated, 4 tablespoons of butter or half a stick, melted then cooled, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, so we're going to start by taking our flour, and we're going to add 2 cups into our bowl. You want to make sure that your flour is aired out and not all clumped together, or else your waffles will come out too dry. You can do that by just mixing it with a fork or a sifter if you have one. Okay. Next, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of white sugar, 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, so now you're going to want to whisk your dry ingredients together and then set it aside. A good tip is to clean up as you go, so now that I'm done with my dry ingredients, I'm going to put them away. Buttermilk, eggs, butter. So, in a separate bowl, we're going to be taking our buttermilk or buttermilk substitute. One teaspoon of vanilla, which is optional, but it makes them a lot sweeter and a lot richer in flavor. The 4 tablespoons of melted butter. It needs to be cooled or else you will cook your milk or eggs and not good. Sometimes if it's not completely cooled, it will get chunky like mine is here, but that is okay because it will not ruin your final product. So you're then going to take 2 eggs and you're going to separate the yolks and the egg whites. You can save your egg whites for a breakfast for another day or a different recipe. A good recipe that uses only egg whites is meringue. You need a lot more eggs, but it's a start. Now that you have them separated, you're going to want to add them to your mixture and whisk it all together. Okay, now that we've done that, you want to get your waffle iron and plug it in. And you're going to want to brush it with oil, or if you're like me and you have a misto, you can just spray that on your thing once it says ready. So I like to turn my waffle iron normally between, it's a 1, 2, 3 setting, so normally in between 2 or 3, which would be like a medium high, because I like my waffles crispy, but it's all based on preference. Okay. So now we're going to take our dry ingredients and we're going to stir in the wet. I'm using a whisk, but you can use a spatula, a spoon, a fork, anything that works. I'd recommend adding it in gradually so it's not as hard to mix together. And you never want to over mix your batter. With batters, a lot of people think they should be smooth, but they actually should be slightly chunky. So you only really need to whisk it like a good 4 or 5 times. And then, ooh. You're gonna go let these sit for a minute, and you're going to take your egg whites from earlier and you're going to whisk them until they hold peaks, and then you're gonna put them into the batter. So I'm going to personally hand whisk mine because I don't have an electric hand mixer, but if you do, it's a lot easier. I'm going to use just a little whisk, and really, if you're doing this by hand, it's going to take a while and a lot of strength. If you're doing this by hand, it could probably take up to like 15 minutes, so I would highly recommend using at least an electric standing mixer, which I do have and should have used, but I decided not to. The reason you want to do this with your egg whites is to make them nice and fluffy, and it'll give it'll help your waffles get crispy, but still have that fluffy inside of a traditional buttermilk waffle. This is where I'm at right now. You need peaks, which I do not have. This recipe is really quick and easy as long as you have a hand mixer. It should only take like 10 minutes to actually get the batter together. It's just the egg whites take a while. Starting to get there. Oh my god, my arm is so tired. Almost there though. It's only been what, 5 minutes? make sure you keep your sleeves out of your egg whites. Not there yet. Back in. They're starting to get really fluffy, but they're not holding those peaks. You need to hold the light peaks before they can be done. Okay, finally done. So, now, you'll want to take a whisk. You're going to want to get your batter and you're going to fold in your egg whites because you do not want to lose. Here, I'll show you the soft peaks. I don't think you can really see them on camera, but they're there, I promise. One last final mixture. So you're going to want to take all your egg whites. Try to get as much of them out as possible. If you lose a little, you lose a little. But I'd rather not, right? Okay. And you're going to take your spatula and you're going to fold them in. And how you fold is what I like to do is scrape the back of your bowl, sort of come around the edge, and then take it back up, over, and rotate your bowl. You really want to be gentle when you're doing this or else all your egg whites will lose the air they had. And then that whole 10 minutes of beating them was useless. Okay. So you want to go until this is fully incorporated. And then after that, you're just going to start putting them in the waffle iron. Okay. Mine looks about done. I'll show you, see if the camera focuses. Yeah. Can't really see it that well. I don't have two angles today because there's nobody here to help me. But a nice trick that my dad taught me actually is to turn on your oven to like 225 so that, because the waffles, they kind of come out staggered, like they won't. I have a family of 5 and you won't have 5 waffles done in like the time that you want them to be done. Like they'll start to cool off and then it's just not good. Or you could just have everybody eat waffles at different points, which is not as good. So what I do is I take a plate and I put it in the oven. So not only is the plate nice and warm, which is also something you can do, warm up your plate. But your waffles stay warm the whole time. Okay. So my green light is on, which means mine is ready for the batter. So what I'm going to do is take a measuring cup from earlier. Ooh, see the steam? If you have a mister, you gotta pump it. Oh, shoot, sprayed it on myself. Once that's good to go, you just want to spray your waffle iron. Ooh, this thing is not working too well. Take your scoop and your batter, and you want to just take a little scoop of it, however much you want. Put it right on there. And how mine is, you close it and you flip it, and when this green light goes on, it's ready, but that's not always the most accurate. Well, your waffles are going. If you want toppings, you can prepare them, like cutting up strawberries, putting powdered sugar in a sifter, getting your maple syrup out so it's like warm, because cold maple syrup is not that good. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to take my pre-washed strawberries, a cutting board, and a paring knife and just slice them. Another trick I like to use is, you can't see it on this side, but sometimes it starts to come out of the side. You can see it there. Like once that part is cooked, normally your waffle is like ready after that, and you can then go from there. If you like them crispier, I would recommend turning up the heat on your iron instead of letting them be for longer. But if you'd rather just let them sit and keep checking on it, that's fine. Oh shit. Honey, will you get Mom to go to the table? I'm going to put my berries into a bowl for convenience. You don't have to, you can leave them on the cutting board. But I think it's just a little easier. They're all together. And I know I have friends who like to mix a little bit, like a teaspoon of sugar into their berries to kind of bring out the natural sweetness, and sometimes it creates like a juice, which is really yummy. But you don't have to. It's all personal preference. What did you even get into? Okay. Wait. Some people say that you should go until the steam on your waffle is done, but my green light is on, so I'm going to check mine to make sure it doesn't burn. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Ooh. Yeah, nice and golden. Shoot. So I'm going to open my oven. I would not recommend using your hands because it's hot. And that's a little unsanitary, but I'm going to, and just popping it right in there. make sure you respray, even if you have a stainless or a non-stick waffle iron, your waffles will still stick, I promise. Okay. So you gotta take a fluffy batter, put it right in. Beautiful. Mom, what would you like as toppings? I'm doing that, but would you like anything else? Are you gonna want butter on yours? Okay. So that time I put a little bit too much batter in, so I'm just going to take my spatula around the sides and just kind of take off all the stuff that fell off. It wasn't too bad though. Good. Maybe we should see if the Heelys want some waffles. Or just text them and be like, do you guys want some waffles? Yeah, I'll text them when we're done. A little tip is that this recipe makes a lot of waffles, and if you don't eat them all, which you probably won't unless you have a big group of people, is to freeze them or give them to your neighbors or something like that. They freeze really well, and then you can just put them in like the microwave oven or your actual oven for a little bit. Heat them up. They're just as good, I think. Ooh, that was a lot.
Mackenzie up for the hot waffles.
When the hot waffles are done, I'll wake Mackenzie up. Okay. Do people eat bananas on waffles? Is that a thing? What other toppings?
Powdered sugar. Yeah, I'm gonna take that.
Ooh, golden syrup. Is there literally nothing else in here? Where is it?
When Dad gets back, we gotta figure out what's going on.
What do you mean?
The payment things go through when we did it the first time.
Okay.
You gotta make sure your spot is safe. I gotta give him a call. Put on the tag spot.
Ooh, this was a little bit overdone. It's okay though. They don't always come out perfect, but what are you gonna do about it? Oh shit. What's the ow for?
Whenever I yawn, it really, really hurts.
When was the last time this thing was filled up?
I don't know.
I feel like we've never refilled this. Yum.
Good timing, Mackenzie. You just had a sense of waffles were getting close to done, huh? You give me some juice, Mackenzie?
Yep. And her pills. She needs her pills.
I don't know what pills she takes in the morning.
She knows. I don't really know either.
I know.
You know what pills you take.
Huh?
You know what pills you take.
Yep.
Her ibuprofen is in her bedroom. And then she's got the antidepressant and the thyroid.
Thyroid filling antidepressant. Simple clean straight.
Yeah, what else though?
In the morning. The vitamin.
Okay.
The women's formula?
Take your vitamins. Take your vitamins.
I'm not wearing a bra. I hope I didn't flash the camera. Wow, these fuckers are thick.
Whoa, was not paying attention. Shoot. Ooh, that one was not done. Oh, I thought the light was on. Afternoon light. Because it's really gross. Do you want to get a new one?
Get me one of that bits.
Whipped cream out.
Wait, what is it that she takes?
Antidepressant, it's like a capsule and it has a stripe on it.
But she
Green
takes
stripe on it.
this, too.
Yeah, and then there's ibuprofen in her bedroom. It's already like how much she needs is already out. This one's a little underdone. But hey, some people like it like that, right?
It's white with a green stripe on it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I have 5 at the moment. Oh! Riley did something. We don't know what. How many waffles you get is totally dependent on how big your waffle iron is and how much of the batter you make. So at the moment, I have 6, counting this one, and I could probably make like one more. So for me, it made 7, but the actual recipe says it should make like 4 to 6, so it's all depends on how you make your waffles. You're ready. Got your bib on. They're ready. I'm probably gonna cut that out. That looks gross. Afternoon delight. Gonna keep up. Hey, what you doing? Anybody want to set the table? Since I have this beautiful arrangement all laid out. Don't move these yet. I need this for the final shot. So like, just get them placed. Like 4, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. Waffle. Apple. Apple. Afternoon delight. It's ready. Bam. Beautiful. This one turned out real good. Mmm. Yum. Oh, fuck. That shit hurted. Out here. Ooh, this might even make me 8. I don't know. Let's see. Wait. Put a lot of work into beating those egg whites. I do not want a single drop wasted. I might need help. Whoa. That's the last one. So, I would soak this in warm water because it'll get gross. And then clean it after you're done with your breakfast. Or lunch, dinner, afternoon snack, I don't know. Just put it all away. Just put it Why is that over here? Okay, Hunter literally has. Oh, that's nasty. Y'all, clean your shit up.
What?
Clean your shit up. Some honey. An old milk. All the milk is stuck to the bottom now. And a cheese packet. That shit nasty. That shit. Don't fly. Don't fly with me. No, 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 no. Y'all ready for some waffles? Some waffles? Some waffles. Waffles. Ken, wanna get some? some seals of it. Cause it's one already. Last waffle. Last waffle. Last waffle. Last waffle. That's true. Not the best, but you know. Okay. When you're taking your waffles out of the oven, use a mitt or one of these things. Cause it'll hurt. They're hot. Ow, I touched it. Okay.
Next week you have a sleepover at church, right?
Make sure you unplug your waffle machine or else you'll burn down your house.